Hey, it's Enigma Hood. Today there was another spree shooting, and it was perhaps the deadliest spree shooting since the Virginia Tech massacre, which occurred a few years ago, years ago, by Cho Sung-wi, who shot and killed 32 people. This one happened in Texas, and this one happened at a United States Army base. And the gunman was Major Nidal Malik Hasan. Now already from the name you can tell this guy is from the Middle East, and he may or may not be a Muslim. It turns out he is in fact a Muslim. Now right now, what I want to say is a lot of dumbass racists are going to be saying a lot of racist things about how Muslims are evil, and how they're sand niggers, and how they are scum of the earth, and how we should nuke the Middle East, and all this other crap. Please do your part, and tell them to shut the fuck up. This shooting has absolutely nothing to do with Muslims. It has to do with this guy. Basically, I'll describe exactly what happened. This guy was going to be deployed to Iraq, and he didn't want to go. That's basically it. He didn't want to go, so he shot a bunch of people, soldiers and civilians. It was, I think, graduation day, and they were going to be deployed to Iraq. And he had 2 handguns, and he shot into the crowd, killing 10 soldiers and 2 civilians. Let's see. Motive. Why did he do it? It's very clear at this point that he was strongly opposed to the war in Iraq. He didn't support the war, and he did not support the United States military. My question is, why did he enlist? That's what I'm wondering. Why did he enlist in the first place, and when did he enlist? I don't know. It might have been before September 11th. He did have the rank of major. I don't know if that means he was in there a long time or he was promoted fairly quickly. But the only thing we know is that he didn't want to go to Iraq. And he was scheduled to be deployed sometime in November. And I guess this was his way of protesting. Now, my reaction is this. I was, of course, as everyone knows, I am against the war in Iraq. It is one of the worst cases of human rights abuse that I've ever witnessed in my life. So many people have died needlessly, and so many American soldiers are being killed in vain. They're being killed for nothing. So I don't blame this guy for not wanting to go. The problem is the United States military does not allow soldiers to resign, which I think is a fatal flaw. We should allow soldiers to resign. If they don't believe in what they're fighting for anymore, then why do you want to send them into a combat zone? It's completely idiotic and stupid. There's a novel called Starship Troopers, written by Robert A. Heinlein. Heinlein, I don't know how to pronounce his name, whatever. But he's a good author. There are many things I disagree with him on, but one thing I do agree with him is that in the novel, they have something called the mobile infantry, and it is a very tough, rigorous military organization. It's so tough that most of the new recruits don't make it through basic training. But they allow the recruits to resign because the idea is, if you don't believe in what you're doing and you don't want to do it, then you shouldn't be there. You shouldn't be forced to do this. And this guy obviously didn't believe in what he was doing, and I do think that he wouldn't have done what he did if people who didn't want to be in the military anymore were allowed to resign. That's the bottom line. Do you really want somebody in a combat zone when they don't want to be there, when they don't believe in what they're fighting for? That's how I feel about it. The other thing is, the racism. I mentioned that before. I know there is going to be a lot of racist morons out there who are going to be attacking the fact that he's a Muslim and the fact that he's from the Middle East. I think he's originally from Jordan. These guys are so uneducated and stupid that it makes me sick to know that these people are actually Americans. So, that's all I have to say about that. The last thing is, we don't even know if this guy, the gunman, Hasan, is alive or not. I've heard very conflicting stories. Some people are saying he's alive, some people are saying he's dead. We don't know yet, but we'll find out soon enough, I guess. Anyway, that's that.